Welcome to Pace TV, the Pace of San Diego. I'm Michael Paul. Today's guest is Deacon Glenn Wise from the Mesa Baptist Church in Poway, California. Glenn is the leader of the food pantry where food is distributed to the needy in the Poway community. Welcome, Glenn. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to hear about the food pantry. What inspired you to be involved in the food pantry?
So, our church didn't have a permanent church home, and when we moved to Poway, we were able to secure a church home, and that was always the dream of our church to establish a food pantry. Once we acquired the property, we set about starting to plan and set up a food pantry.
So there are several churches in the area that has food pantries. So why did you feel it needed to start a pantry?
Because of the food insecurity that's in Poway, we were just led to essentially add an additional one to help all of those that were dealing with food insecurities in the Poway community.
What are some of the hoops you have to jump through to start a food pantry? I mean, you got to go through downtown and
No. So we partner with the San Diego Food Bank, and they have a process. So the process includes them coming out to do a site visit, looking at your facility, ensuring that you have all the appropriate things in place, and then they work with you. And it was started just by working with the San Diego Food Bank.
okay. So when you started, you had an idea, but did you go and research or go to other places to get an idea model from any other church?
Yes. The San Diego Food Bank recommended the Foundry Church in Escondido to me, and I visited their site for about 3 to 4 visits. And that was where I got the ideas on how we can model the food pantry at the Mesa Baptist Church.
Now you got to have volunteers. So how do you get volunteers and how many do you have?
So we currently have 29 volunteers, and our process was in the Sunday service. I just made the plea that we wanted to start a food pantry and that we needed 29 people to do it. And that same afternoon, we had enough people to get it started.
So how do you schedule them to work or how is that done?
The schedule is predicated on each individual giving me 1 weekend a month. So we have teams 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so most people are able to donate 1 week of the month, and that's how we staff the food pantry.
When does the food come in and who deliver it?
So we have our food distributions every Saturday from 8 to 11. And so we receive the food in on Fridays from 10 to maybe noon. The food is received. We check the food to make sure everything is good. If anything's not good, we toss it out. We display the food in the way it's going to be displayed on Saturday. And that's the process that we use. Our monthly distribution happens on the second Saturday of the month, where we get all the stuff from San Diego Food Bank that we donate during the month.
Okay, I noticed when the food is being unloaded, you put it on a weight, on a scale. Why is that?
Yeah, so the San Diego Food Bank requires us to weigh all of the food that we receive, and then they make yearly numbers around how much food is distributed at our food bank.
Once the food is taken inside, it's processed, sorted out. Where do all of it go? I mean, what type of food comes?
So we have all kind of food you can imagine. So Vaughn's is one of our local suppliers. So anything you see in Vaughn's, you can see in our food pantry. The other thing you'll see is frozen goods that we get from the San Diego Food Pantry.
When you hear about food pantry, you think about just going and receiving food, but you never get to hear about the process of how everything's work. So thanks for sharing that. So what is a typical Saturday for you? How does that go?
So as I mentioned, our distribution schedule is from 8 to 11. We have participants showing up as early as 4 a.m. to get in line. So I generally arrive every Saturday around 6 a.m. to get everything set up. We make sure the table is set up, the computer's set up. We have to do a check every Saturday to make sure the freezer and refrigerators are monitoring properly. And then we just wait for the team to show up around 7:45. And at 8 o'clock, we start the distribution.
So how do you determine who's eligible to get food?
Food eligibility is determined by the San Diego Food Bank. It's based on an income requirement. So our requirement is to have them fill out an intake form. They accept or denote that they're eligible to receive the food, and then we process them and give them the food. We don't get into any income verification or checks like that.
someone that just happened to see the sign that say food pantry today,
Yes,
can they just walk up and get food?
they can. Our site is open to everybody every Saturday. So you walk up, you would come to the table, you would fill out the you fill out the entry form, and then we would process that form. That same day, you will receive food.
So should they bring their own bags or?
If you've been there before, we request that you bring bags, but if your first time, you don't know the requirement, so we'll front the bags for your first visit.
So do you get a lot of the same people, or how does that? You notice a lot of them? Are you friendly with a bunch of them, or?
Yes, so we started our pantry in 2017, and I would say probably 70% of the families come every week. So over the years, as you can imagine, some of these people are real like family. We see them every week. Our food pantry is open. We only close 4 days a year. So the rest of the weeks, every Saturday, we're there distributing food to the local community.
Okay, during pandemic, how did that work? I mean, everybody was wearing masks, or
Yeah.
did that make a big difference?
So we had some very serious discussion at church around whether we should stay open or close. Our team made the decision that we would stay open because we thought there was going to be a greater need for those in need of food. So some of our volunteers said they didn't want to do it. So what we did was we established our own protocols to keep the participants safe and our members safe,
Mhm.
and we continue to operate. We noticed before the pandemic, we were doing about 50 to 60 families a week. Our family numbers went up to about 100 a week during the pandemic, and as they remain today.
When you look at month to month, how many families do you think you serve?
We now average about 105 per week.
So what's the most challenging part of running a food pantry?
You know, that's an interesting question. I really don't have very many challenges. The volunteers have been just super. We always have more people than we need, and I think when you interact with the people, they're so thankful and grateful for what we're doing. It's really a joy to participate in week to week.
So how do you make the recipients feel comfortable, welcome at the pantry?
So, first of all, we're a Christian church, and so our beliefs are predicated on the Bible. So, just based on our Christian character, we've been taught how to treat people. The other thing that I would share with you is the San Diego Food Bank has civil rights training that all the volunteers go through to ensure that we treat everyone that comes through with dignity and respect.
What's your favorite food pantry story?
I'll have two that I would like to share with you. The first one is right when we started, about a year into it, an elderly lady walked up to me and said to me, she's now able to afford her medication because now
Hmm.
we're giving her food. The second one is there was a family that was on Pomerado Road traveling to the 99-cent store because they only had $10 to find some food to buy. As they were passing our church, they saw the sign that says food pantry open. And they came by and we was able to service them. So those are the kind of things that keep us going and keep us excited about serving the community.
So have you ever received any feedback from recipients, or telling you how much they appreciate that, or?
We have, and I'd like to read this note from one of the participants because I think it better expresses more than I can. It says, "Dear Glenn, you have touched my life in so many ways, so many beautiful ways. To say thank you doesn't come close to the gratitude and appreciation I feel. Life is so difficult, and you go above and beyond to make my life easier. Your kindness, generosity, and thoughtfulness humble me. I simply can't make it each week without the help of you and your staff in the church. You are truly angels sent from our Lord above, and I am only one in the large flock of sheep. We are truly blessed to have you and your help and love. From the bottom of my heart, thank you and God bless you all."
Oh, nice. I like that. What are some of the lessons learned over the years with the food pantry?
The one I'll mention is when we first started, um, we didn't have a time limit on how long they can be inside. So if you can imagine in 3 hours, you're trying to serve 100 people, people come in and they'll look at this, look at that, look at that. So what we did was we established a 3-minute time limit, and people are well within the right to do that. Secondly, what we did was we wouldn't put too much on the table.
Mhm.
If you give people 15 choices to make, it's just going to take them longer.
So, what's the most heartwarming story from the food pantry you've heard?
I don't know. I mean, I would just say there's just so many. I would just reflect on when we started this, I never would imagine that our makeup would be 75% elderly. Um, I thought it would be much younger families. And just to see the number of elderly families that come out every week, it really, really just reinforces our desire to do this and to do this weekly.
So, what have you learned from the community when about being associated with the food pantry?
I've learned that they're very grateful, thankful um, people. Um, I'm really, really glad that we're able to be a part of this community and be looked at as being helpful in the community.
Okay, how did you measure success beyond just serving people with the food pantry?
Well, success is measured by essentially knowing that when those 100 families leave on Saturday, they have food that they can consume that's this upcoming week. Um, I can't imagine families being home and having no food to eat. So we're just thankful to be a part of helping families to have food to eat every day.
So, do you ever get irate p- recipients when they come and they're not going fast or not getting what they want? So,
I mean, whenever you're dealing with the public, as you can imagine, some people are not kind and thoughtful, but we don't hold that against them. They're there to receive food. Our obligation is still to treat them with dignity and respect.
how many times do you get a inspection for the food pantry?
So, being a San Diego Food Pantry site, we're expected once a year by the San Diego Food Bank.
Okay, I know earlier you said something about locking the trash cans.
Yeah.
Why
So
is that?
yeah. So part of the requirement is you have to have locked trash cans because the San Diego Food Bank don't want us throwing bad food away and putting it in dumpsters, and then people are able to receive it. So that's one of the requirements. You have to have locked trash cans to be a part of the program.
Okay, what have you learned about the volunteers so far that work the food pantry?
The volunteers are deeply committed. Um, I've never, since 2017, we've never had a week where we didn't have enough people to run the food pantry. And I think that's just a commitment to the volunteers that are committed to staffing it because I think they see the families week to week. And it's very important to them to ensure that we do this and we do this weekly.
Okay. So what about the members of the church? Do they have an idea of what the food pantry is like?
Yeah. So weekly at church, on the church bulletin, we essentially present how many families we served the past week. And that's always very well received.
By doing this video, will they get more knowledge of seeing this? They have more knowledge and understanding of the work that you put in, and because when I started working the food pantry, I didn't understand what really went on,
Mhm.
and that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, just to show everybody what goes into and all the free time people put in and how eager they are to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm always ready to be there whenever asked.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I think it's just a commitment to essentially helping those that are in need of food. And when you see people how overjoyed they are when they know they're going to have food for the upcoming week, I think it just helps us to continue to go on as we move forward.
How you determine who gets each family, how much food they get?
Yeah, so the amount of food you receive is based on family size. So a family of size of 1 to 3 gets 1 bag of food. A family of size of 4 or more gets 2 bags of food per the San Diego Food Bank's menu.
What is the address of the church?
The Mesa Baptist Church address is 13230 Pomerado Road, Poway, California.
So what is the website for the church?
The Mesa View Baptist Church website is mesaview.org.
So do you take donations from outside members or non-members or however?
Yeah, so anyone that wants to donate to the food pantry, we take donations. In addition, we have people that are not members of the church that also choose to serve as volunteers for the food pantry, and we welcome that.
Have you got some certificate for the food pantry? Have the city acknowledged that?
Yeah, so just last month from Joel Anderson's office, we received a certificate of recognition in honor of National Volunteer Months. And it reads, in special recognition and sincere appreciation of your commendable dedication to provide excellence for the members of our community through your outstanding volunteerism and enthusiastic devotion to countless hours of work while serving as an excellent role model given by Joel Anderson's office.
So how many members are there total in the food pantry?
29 to 30.
Is there any food that you don't take?
No, we can receive almost any type of food because our deliveries are on Friday. So essentially, we intake all the food, inspect it, and if it needs to be frozen, we have freezers. If it needs to be refrigerated, we have refrigerators. If it needs to be stored at room temperature, we have storage rooms. So we can receive almost any type of food as long as it's still packaged if it's not fresh produce.
And what about oranges and apples? And
All the above. We're able to receive all of those.
so do you put the oranges and apples in bags or?
So we're partnering with an organization called Backyard Produce,
Mhm.
and this organization essentially, if you have fruit trees and you can't consume all your fruit, they'll come and pick your fruit, bring it to our organization. We'll then inspect it and bag it and give it out on Saturday.
So how do people get in contact with you?
Believe it or not, we've been in business since 2017, and my phone number is all around Poway. So when people have food to donate, they typically either call my cell phone or the church business office, and then they'll get in contact with me, and we'll always make a way if people have food to donate.
So does the church reach out to Costco or big, large corporations to ask for donations for food?
We do not. We reserve that relationship through the San Diego Food Bank, and we allow them to essentially, they typically contact us and say, Walmart or a certain organization wants to donate food, and can we receive it?
Okay, when you did your research uh, starting the food pantry, was there anything you do differently from other pantries?
No, so the San Diego Food Bank, if you're a San Diego Food Bank site, there's rules and regulations that they dictate that you must follow. And
Okay.
what they do is they train the volunteers on what those policies and procedures are, and you're expected to follow them.
So when you researched or when you went to the other food pantries to get an idea how food pantries ran, and did you do things a little different than the other food pantries?
Yeah, so some food pantries have ticketing numbers and things like that. We use a straightforward approach that first come, first serve. So you line up, and then first in line goes first, second in line goes second, and we just process you through that way. The thing that we do is we pre-bag all of the items because it's just too difficult to do that as you're processing people and giving out food.
So the food pantry has been since 2017, you say?
Yes, 2017 we started.
Yeah. So what have you seen the biggest difference from day one to now?
I think you just learn from the way you start doing things. You just evolve a bit.
Mhm.
Um, just one of the things I would say is just the volume in people. When we first started, 55. In fact, last Saturday we processed 125 families. I would say over the course of all these years, our biggest Saturday was 155 people being processed and receiving food. And that was at the height of COVID.
From 8 to 11, you say, right? That's the
Yes, that's our
uh-huh.
hours.
So what if someone gets there at 11:10? Would they get food, or how does that work?
So the process is such that so our hours are from 8 to 11. If you're in line at 11 o'clock, we'll serve you
Oh,
because it's not your fault if you're in line and we don't have time to process you. So, but if you show up to get in line at 11:01, per the San Diego Food Bank's policies, we can't serve you.
I noticed that you have wagons there. What are the wagons
Yeah.
for?
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of our participants are elderly and they can't carry their food to their cars. So what we did was we bought wagons such that when they're inside, we load all the materials inside of a cart and we carry those things to their cars and load in their cars for them
How long have you been doing that for them? Is
since
that
day
from
one,
day one?
since
Oh,
2017. Yes.
what is the parking like at the church for them?
Um, our food site is on our church property. Parking is not an issue. We have plenty of parking. Parking is not an issue at all.
So have you found out that people go from one food bank to the other food bank? Do you know about that?
So I don't know about that, but that is allowed. The San Diego Food Bank has a process in place that once you have your card, you can visit different food pantries set up by the San Diego Food Bank, and that's allowed. So families in need can go to a food pantry in Poway today, El Cajon tomorrow, Escondido the next day, Chula Vista the next day. That's allowed per their policy.
Oh, so they can't do it on the same day.
No, you're allowed one time on the same day.
Okay. Can you expand on what's in the bags when they come to pick it up? You say
Yeah,
food is already in bags, so what's in it?
yeah. So the contents of the bags from the San Diego Food Bank menu would include things like spaghetti, corn, um, fruit cocktails, peaches, pears, and then typically we give them two frozen products that would include things like pork chops, catfish, um, things like that.
What is the criteria for rejecting somebody that come in?
So I would say to you, since 2017, our site has never rejected anyone. The process is that, as I mentioned earlier, they fill out a form regarding their eligibility. So if they fill the form out and say they're eligible to receive the food, I give them the food. If someone were to show up and not being respectful, I would go to them and ask them to be respectful if they want to receive the food. If they continue to be disrespectful, I would then place a call to the Poway Sheriff's Department.
Do any restaurants call and say they have leftover food? Would you want it?
Not particularly, but we have a site, O'Brien's Bakery in Poway. They are a regular contributor at least twice a month with bakery, bread, and things like that that they donate twice a month.
Do they have to go to the food bank first?
No, they're directly deal with me
So why you don't take food from the restaurant?
because our site is not prepared to handle cooked meals. There is training associated with that, and because we only serve on a Saturday, we're excluded from handling cooked food.
So do you ever run out of food? Well, how does that work when you got people in line and you don't have any more food?
So the process is it's like kind of balancing your checkbook. So how this works is the San Diego Food Bank, if let's say I need enough food for 500 families, they give me enough food for 500 families. Next month, essentially I'll tell them how much food I need. Over the 17 years, we've never run out of food because as our numbers have gone up from 65 to 105, the San Diego Food Bank increases our outlay monthly to support those additional families.
Does the food have an expiration date on it? How long do you keep it?
Essentially, non-perishable food can be kept. We don't keep it longer than a month. If something's perishable, we look at the expiration. If it's perishable, we throw it out. We don't give it to anyone.
So has anyone said that they got sick from the food they received from the pantry?
Absolutely not.
Do you have people that are embarrassed about coming to the food pantry?
Yes. And how we combat that is before we set up our program, we had training from the San Diego Food Bank. And one of the methods that we use to make people feel comfortable is that we talk to them about their families and how they're doing, and you don't get into having them feel less than because they're receiving food. Uh, our process is that you have to be in line from 8 to 11. We don't have a alternative mechanism for someone to come after hours and receive food. But I would say to you, it's really in treating them respectfully, um, and they get to know you week after week, and they feel comfortable receiving the food and coming to the food pantry. Like I said, over the years, they really feel like family because they're there 3 or 4 times a month.
What if, well, you say you don't deliver food, but someone call the church or notify someone that they need food, but they can't get there. Is there any way you can deliver it, or would they? How would that work out?
No, so we, as I stated earlier, don't have a mechanism for delivery, but we also have the capability of something called a proxy. So if you have a family member and you have a card, you can fill out a proxy form. I can then give that food to your family member who can then deliver it to you.
We out of time, Glenn. Thank you for being here. It was exciting hearing about the food pantry. I wish you nothing but continued success with the food pantry. Thank you for watching Pace TV, the Pace of San Diego. Hope you watch again. Thanks.